Hi guys, Theresa here from theresamonroe.com, and I thought I'd offer you some energy of the week. I think this might be fun to do some supplementals as they come up. I thought about doing them weekly, but I thought, I don't know, it doesn't always work like that. So anyway, so I've created a little audio here for you and to talk about some current energies. And right now there is a groundedness to dreams happening right now. This is different from in the earlier part of this year. Earlier this year, we were able to think about and this is particularly strong around this Pisces full moon that was just a few days ago. Sorry, they're telling me a couple of different things all at the same time. So, but earlier this year, we had a number of dreams, like coming up, and the same sort of dreams or thoughts or aspirations, things you're wanting to do or shift in life. If it was before April, we thought about it, but we possibly weren't able to bring that into fruition because it wasn't able to be grounded. And then we had some energy that had us looking backwards, sort of in terms of really working through some karmic patterning that was from April through about right now. Now things are starting to shift already. Some of you may have felt that as early as the 13th or 14th. Some dabbled in it right around the 8/8 Lionsgate. Some saw it around the 9th, but really are starting to feel more of it now. Part of what has shifted is I'm not necessarily an astrologer, but to give some of you some labels so that you can understand this, because I pick up more on cosmic events and sometimes astrological, but anyway, just to let you know, the energy has shifted in terms of areas where we have felt stuck, where we have felt like things not necessarily were moving properly. It's a lot of that is shifting now for the better, and it's fantastic. Like where people are needing or ready to move forward can now, because that energy of where it was like, okay, stay put, work through this right here, and here's that. And that's why there's been this timeline between the end of April and now. And it's ironic because it's the same dates between my mother's birthday and just like 12 days past the anniversary of her death. So I was like, and it isn't necessarily like my work hasn't necessarily been related to her, but when they were coming through with the exact dates of when all that was coming through, I just thought I'd share that with you. So my mom just came through. She's like, well, you were working through some grief in some other areas. So like, so some of you may have felt grief around feeling stuck, around where you had dreams and you're just really ready for stuff to move forward. So some of you in the past week or so, even just since Friday, have felt like it's like you're starting your engines, like, and I remember they're showing me the street lights in Europe where it goes like before it's red and then you see the yellow light at the same time before it turns green, so you have time to clutch, like, or to press in the clutch before pressing the gas, so that it helps with traffic. And it works well over there, I found. Except I will tell you, in other parts of the world, people go once it turns yellow, but that's whatever. When we're following the rules in terms of what they're talking about, that's what they mean. So anyway, we finally have some energy moving into Libra. Now, somebody who has a lot of Libra in their chart is going to feel this like a breath of fresh air, because to air signs, everything being in earth signs, particularly, looking at karmic issues and that having like, like a Capricornian type energy to it, it feels suffocating to somebody with a lot of air in their chart. And some of them were probably pretty miserable over the summer. Everybody has air somewhere in their chart, but if you are highly governed by air, that would be something difficult for you. there's interesting because I don't normally cough, so some of you may have felt that you weren't able to use your voice, like, or there was something happening around using your voice over this time. Some of you may have received notice about having used your voice and looking at whether or not how you use it. But this can hit, depending on a number of factors, this can affect everybody in different ways, and you're going to know because you're going to be like, yeah, I felt stuck in that area, and now I'm having dreams around, in terms of thoughts or things you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. Some of you are feeling go time. And that's a beautiful thing because I tell you, for some people, for earth signs, it's been a little bit easier. But for air signs, I'll tell you, some of you have felt like super stuck and really not happy with that because it's not fun for like people. Air signs move faster, and so for them it's like asking them to do unintelligent tasks, and air signs are known for their minds moving really quickly and being really intelligent. So I feel like most of my audience are water signs, but can also relate to the flow having slowed down a little bit. But for air signs, it's been like, oh, yes, I can breathe again. Particularly if you've got planets sitting in a Venus-ruled planet. It's interesting. I don't normally discuss with these labels like this, but this is what they're having me do. So some of you, over the past week as well, have picked up on some epiphanies, meaning like you could take it's almost like being out of body and being able to pick up on what your lessons are, or being able to, the thing I love about spirit is they can give you perspective in terms of what's happening free of judgment. I have very rarely found, it's usually psychic therapists that can do it, but like regular therapists, I've had some really like want to deliver stuff with judgment, and that's the part I think people have a hard time with, not necessarily hearing the truth. I think if it's coming through in a soft manner, some people can hear it, but there's still some people that are obstinate. There are some people, I'm going to call them out, in terms of like Taurus energy. Sorry guys, Sun, Moon, and Rising sometimes are having, like on the higher end of things, they will use their stay-puttedness when it comes to, I have chosen a path of God and stay put, and not allow that to waver. That's when it's used in its highest form. But there's some currently, particularly on the Gemini track, that have like Gemini rising or moon, that will sometimes just not, they'll block out certain things and be stubborn on their old ways, and not using it in a positive manner. And that's something we've been seeing since the end of, they're saying the summer of 2014. But there's some that are still maneuvering that, and you'll see it around them, especially with them needing to let go of certain paths or people or things like that, and some of them clinging to fear more than anything else. And it's okay to work through your fears, but there are issues if you're being obstinate in terms of God asking you to do something, then you really have a problem, okay? But this is a great time for releasing that, which is why they are mentioning to me, about that story. It's like, guys, if you've been suffering through that and you're like, oh man, I have not made the best decisions, because some of them will internally say that to themselves, but because of judgment may not want, or fear of judgment may not want. And sometimes it's if somebody has a right to be emotionally upset if that's affected their lives negatively, because that could be a suffocating kind of energy for people to watch. But to each their own with what they're going through. But what I'm saying is right now there's more energy present to support shifts for where people want to go, and it's just kind of surrendering. So if you made wishes, like even right now, but even like something that you can do on the full moon is make wishes about where you want to go, regardless of whether or not it's an ending energy. you still can ask, like, your guides, say, guides, go back in time and set those wishes for then. And you have that power to shift your entire paradigm. It's a good time for releasing certain things in terms of, it's like, okay, that was there for, karmic lessons or whatever. If it's heavy, it's a great time for letting that go so that, this groundedness to dreams happening right now are able to move forward. There were some children born recently, and it's just beautiful because with like Venus and Mercury moving into Venus, it's like, oh, it's such a breath of fresh air, literally, is what my guides were saying, and they're funny making those air references. But those people will forever be able to manifest, and that's what I'm talking about with the groundedness to dreams coming true, or groundedness for breakthroughs. These people's dreams will be grounded. And what I want to draw a picture to with that for you guys is specifically when a lot of people, okay, so there's a spray that I have called Mary Magdalene. This is my best-selling spray for a number of reasons, but a big one is she grounds heart energy, okay? So stick with me because it has to do with the groundedness in terms of dreams coming true. A lot of people are connected, particularly of Celtic descent, are connected up the higher chakras to the heart chakra. So sometimes, like, if the feminine, like the pink flame of the threefold flame of the heart, what that means is if they're only grounded down to the heart chakra and not from the heart chakra down into the center of the earth, these people will sometimes have a harder time manifesting. Also, because you have to have that grounded element to bring it into the physical realms. That's what the lower chakras manage, are the physical realms, and the heart is the bridge to the cosmic realms. People of angelic lineages, particularly of Celtic lineage, are connected typically to the heart chakra. Anybody that's been on the planet during major cataclysms, like the fall of Atlantis, or issues in Egypt, or like old wounds, and there's sprays for those too, by the way, but for shifting those, called Atlantis, and the other one's Mama Kauai, which helps with Lemurian stuff, and it resets those templates for people, or if they just want to connect to when energy was functioning properly. But basically, it grounds that heart energy down into the center of the earth, is what that spray does. And the beauty of the energy of this Piscean moon is, especially babies born during that time, not only do they have that diplomatic way about them, but also they have that groundedness and a balance between the upper and lower chakras. Now, in places like Hawaii, they're more connected in the lower chakras for people that are typically born here. Now, they still have, some people have issues around that, particularly on this island, which is very, very painful to be around. For anybody empathic, if you're living here, it's a lot of survival of the fittest. It's not a fun energy to be around. For certain reasons, but unless your like Jupiter line runs through here, and I'm talking about astrocartography, or your sun line runs through Hawaii, it's a different experience for those people. But there are, you see people coming here a lot, and stating like, I'm just not willing to suffer to live in paradise. And it's been an interesting thing. Like, there was a kid that was, a professional ball player, and he came here and he was living in a makeshift hut, and he's just like, this is not my life. So it's, anyway, it's an interesting thing. And we make jokes about posting pictures about stuff like that and how they'll charge you $800 a month for it, because some will. But my point is, the energy now has a more groundedness to dreams happening right now compared to the earlier parts of this year, and that's coming online at the same time as coming out of this stuck energy, or where people have been asked to really take a look at certain stuff. Now, part of the reason this can be empowering is, these energy updates I create can say, okay, over the next 4 months, you're going to be dealing with this energy here, so you best want to apply like the violet flame or something, which there's a spray for that, for moving forward and being able to clear that stuff out, and it best assists you over whatever the next 4 months when you're you know, working through a lot of karmic issues. It just supports you. It doesn't do the work for you, though. But it makes things easier. It's really funny. An avocado just jumped off the tree and was like, hey, come get me. It's funny because they'll speak to you. It's beautiful how food is, or fruits and things that we can eat are still sentient beings. And with, well, it's funny calling them sentient beings, but they certainly have life force. So for those of you that want to connect with that energy and want to ground, the beauty of that too, for people that have that, is you'll have, you'll have a lot of anxiety sitting around, like just under the heart area, or some people say, oh, that's in my heart, but it's sitting in your third chakra. It's or your 3.5 3.5 area of your chakras, or whatever, in between the third and the fourth. That Mary Magdalene spray will help you with that. It's not my most obvious manifesting spray, but that is one for sure. When you're spraying it, you'll feel the anxiety take off. It's a beautiful one. That's my bestseller. But the other ones that people are liking are the joy spray and the love spray. Particularly when you work with the love spray, it balances that feminine threefold flame in the heart, like the pink flame, because you've got blue, gold, and or yellow, and pink, and those three are very interesting. Maybe I should do a video explaining what the threefold flame is for you guys, but you want to keep those balanced. And so when people started having issues here around the divine feminine, that pink flame had been extinguished, and people stopped having access to Mother God. So that being activated allows people to, and Mary Magdalene spray helps with that as well. With that being activated will help people to be able to manifest. But the tough thing is it also activates the energy bodies for people, you know, being able to, to be able to feel stuff around them. So sometimes when I do the channeling stuff and I stop to speak, I get information from, you know, the other guides, and then also my counterpart is like, oh, you're doing psychic work? Like almost wants to like listen in, and I'm like, oh, it's funny. It bugs me sometimes because I'm just like, hey, I'm working, get out, you know. But it's funny because he sometimes thinks I'm talking about him, and I'm like, I'm working. So telepathy is such a funny thing. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick energy update and let you guys know about the groundedness to this, and things like that. That's why there's an image on here of the threefold flame. You guys can see what that looks like. It's typically about 1/16 of an inch. Now you can expand them during, like, there's ways to work with them during healing sessions and things like that, but there's things like you don't want to just go playing with them unless you know what you're doing, because they can keep you from sleeping at night and all kinds of stuff. So you don't want them just flapping in the wind. Like, there's ways to properly connect with them, and I can teach you how to do that. And so yeah, anyway, if you'd like some current insight into your life, I do 15 to 30 minute sessions. I have an hour-long session, but right now my readings move so fast, I don't need you longer than 15 or 30. So if you'd like some insight, there's some time available for you guys. I'll try and get more of these energy updates out as they, you know, kind of come through. There's certain things, like if I'm dealing with my counterpart's heaviness for some stuff that he's transmuting, I sometimes won't feel or hear the messages as much, or dealing with my own stuff, like that's why. So it's interesting. I want to be consistent with it, but sometimes it's also, you know, it's also difficult. So, and then there's some privacy thing around being on a public platform where there's certain people you don't want tuning into your energy and what you're up to and stuff like that. And it's a catch-22 between being of service and then maintaining privacy around that. And for certain people that listen to this, that are on, you know, that have their own channels, know a little bit of what I'm kind of talking about. So anyway, sending you guys lots of love. For those of you that it resonates with, fantastic. If you've got questions, then feel free to leave a message down below. All right, talk soon. Bye. One more thing I wanted to touch base on that I meant to mention in the earlier part of the recording is that back in, let me see, it was the December 2017, I believe it was, the end of December 2017, I filmed a number of videos about the karmic path that were people were embarking on, everybody was embarking on, but I did it by sign. And it's something that's going on for the next 2.5 years from 2017. Okay, so meaning I was doing videos from December 2017 into 2.5 years forward would be where we would see changes and breakthroughs. And so that energy that I was talking about, Saturn moving forward on the 18th of September, that's essentially where we're going to be seeing breakthrough. So if you go to Vimeo and you check out the links below, all those videos are on sale for 99 cents. So they're older videos at this point. They're about, oh goodness, not even 2 years. They're, let me see, 2018, a year, almost 2 years old now. But that's where you're going to be able to seeing a concentration of the energy for where you're having your breakthrough, and you tend to watch by rising sign. But you're able to purchase all the videos if you'd like for a certain price as well. Awesome. So if you've liked this particular video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and share with the people that you feel that it may help with. Lots of love to you. Bye.